All right. So today I've been able to add GitHub actions to my project, and it was very straightforward, uh, very easy to do. Um, I've previously tried to set up some other CI, but this one was pretty straightforward. So GitHub, I really compared Circle CI, GitHub Actions. I didn't really try to use Circle CI, but I like watched some YouTube videos about the comparison and also comparison with Travis CI and and some other CIs. So I figured that since I'm using GitHub Actions might be, a good start. Of course, there are some advantages and disadvantages associated with with GitHub Actions, especially in comparison with other CI/CD. So, but I figure that for the start, GitHub Actions might as well be sufficient and easy to get started with. All right. So I already this is a config file already added into my project, but let's see how one can quickly add GitHub Actions to their project. So this is my project right here, and when I come to Actions. Already you can see that I have had some, passing pipelines and failing pipelines. So if I open one of these, let's say passing pipelines, we can see that if I go ahead, all right, so this is what is going on. So this is the pipeline passed, it all went well. Let's also look into the failed one. Um, let's see this. So this failed at some point. I I changed a test. I deliberately changed a test so that the pipeline would fail. But I then fixed it again. So this was a PyTest that failed and it made the pipeline fail. Yeah. So this is all good now. And the way it is configured, if I push anything, the pipeline runs automatically. So let's see, since this is already, added and already working well, I just, picked another project that doesn't have it set up. So this we are on master branch, but you can always do it on any branch. So if I come to actions, somewhat there are already existing templates and configs that can help one get started very fast. So you can say Python package using Anaconda. Uh, you know, they already know that I am using Python, so they quickly bring me the Python related ones. So I used this one for Django because I figured that would be pretty easy to get started with. So um, you just say configure and boom, it adds it to your project. It tries to create a file. But of course, this will only get committed to the project once you commit it. So what happens is that in the root folder, it creates a folder called .github, then stroke workflows, and then you can name this YAML file whatever you want. And now comes with some good config, to get started with. So of the this is the name that we are giving to this. So I pretty much didn't change this. This can be changed to anything. All right. So these are like events. So it's like on push, like when we push, or on pull request. So this on represents, like, you can put events under here and then define what happens when that event occurs. So in this case, on push will happen like um, the pipeline will get triggered when we push or when we make a pull request, yeah, and then you can specify the branches where you want that to happen, yeah. All right, then jobs that are supposed to happen. This is the build. It will use, it will run on Ubuntu latest. Then you can choose the Python versions that you'd like to work with, and then the steps. This involves checking out the branch, and then this will set up Python, and then this will install dependencies, so we can do installations here, and you see that we are doing we are installing requirements, and then we can run tests here. All right, so if I commit this file will get added, and boom, that will be it. So let me just pull out the one that I already did. So, or you can create it locally. So me, I created an issue on GitLab, and then I created a new branch. So in my case, I had an issue. I think it's already closed. Uh, Integrate GitHub Actions. Yeah, so all I did was to create this issue, and then I came and and created a branch where I would, because I really wanted to create this on a new branch. So my branch is pointing to develop. And then, so what I did, of course, I came and checked out my branch locally, and then added the folder manually. So we could do it online and just like commit the file online on GitHub, or we could do it locally and then push our changes. So in my case, I wanted to do it locally and push my changes. So I created .github stroke workflows and then put my folder here. So my file here. So I named my file GitHub Actions CI .yaml. So the same thing I was explaining, only that for me, I wanted to be able to trigger the pipeline uh, once I push to any branch. That's why I put star star. If you check the documentation, we can see that star star means any branch, and I also want to trigger the um, pull request. I want to trigger the pipeline when I make a pull request to any branch. So the same thing down here. So I'm using PyTest for running my tests. So like if I come here and I run PyTest, sorry, let me change to my virtual environment. So if I like run PyTest here, my tests will run. So that's why on running tests, I just say PyTest, and that would be sufficient. So this pipeline works quite well. So let me just like do something and we see it happening live. All right, so I created this new issue. I would like to add Docker config for deployment. So I'll just make some little changes so that we see this in practice. So I create a branch, create a new branch. So I will check out locally, and since I've already created this branch, uh, all right. So now um, down to this. Okay. So what I will do is um, I will make some little changes. Let me just change a test and make it fail. Okay. Let me just change this. This will fail. So git. All right. So I changed that. So we want to see the pipeline run. Okay. Git add. Git commit. All right. So I will just push. All right. So let's see what happens when I come to actions. This yellow shows that it's running. So you can see. Let's dig into and see what is going on with the pipeline. So it is installing dependencies. Boom. Pipeline completed, and clearly it failed. All right, so it failed. Um, can even make a pull request for this. So add docker config to project. All right, so I'll make this point to develop and create a pull request. Just assign this to myself. So if we check here on our pull request, we see that this failed. It shows that this failed. And if I go in here, what we see is that this we notice that we have this running because I created the pull request, and this also gets triggered when a pull request is created. Yeah, so this is a good point to see. This will also fail, and it failed here. Boom. So what we noticed is that this got triggered when I pushed, and immediately when I created a pull request, this one also got triggered because I have that config saying if I wish the pipeline should get triggered once I push or once I create a pull request on any branch. Yeah, perfect. So this one, let me refresh. Boom. So I have, both events, both of them push and pull request failing. All right. So let me like fix this test. And it seems I received like an email showing me that the pipeline failed. Let me check. Boom. Yeah. All jobs have failed. Yeah, I received an email telling me that the pipeline failed. So I can go ahead and check which pipeline failed. So pretty interesting. So let me just fix this. Let me fix the test. Boom. Then I git commit fix test to pass pipeline. All right. So I say git push. So let's see what happens. Boom. It starts. All right. So let's see. So this is running. So let's see what's going on. And it passed. Perfect. So if I refresh here, let's see. Wow. So this all passed very well. So that's basically it. And there is documentation, like if I say GitHub Actions, docs. There is pretty good documentation about all this, like getting started, it's all very, very straightforward. Um, can learn about the actions, what happens. So the documentation is pretty good. And so we can do continuous integration and continuous deployment. So in my case, I'll be adding the config for deployment later on to my pipeline, and we'll see how that goes. But for now, that's it. Thank you.